All right, hi guys, welcome back. Good to have you. Happy with the response from the previous mail that video that I'd sent out. um, my alliance members were all fairly, intrigued, interested. The video probed and got a lot of questions out of the guys, which I'm happy about. We're trying to get a lot of players involved in playing a little bit more player versus player or PvP, as you would have it. And so I was quite happy with the response. Something that did arise frequently was building the defense to the point where it's um, for someone that's starting out, someone that doesn't coin as much, someone that is not spending a lot of money on the game. And that's exactly why these T1 traps are so efficient, because they tend to require very few resources, and they are super, super, super efficient if you do it properly. So a T1 trap is essentially a keep that is made up predominantly of T1 troops. And by predominantly, I mean, at least roughly 100 to 200 million T1 troops. You could use less depending on the age of your server. The older you get, the more difficult it is. I mean, previously, I think on a new server, brand new server, with 50 million troops, no one's going to get past 50 million T1 troops. But as time progresses, that becomes irrelevant, and you need to start upping that amount, because with the age comes an increase in buffs to the point where T1s can be cleared very easily as a solo. Might be an inefficient trade in points or power. Even rallies would eat you up. So you want to be able to firstly defend a solo. So you don't want anyone to come at you and just burn you in one hit. And then as you get bigger, you want to be able to defend against rallies. Okay, so how do we do this? So starting off, you need to figure out the best and most efficient way to get your keep level to level 33. Okay, for two main reasons. Well, at least one, and that's here in the forge. If we look at Achaemenid gear, okay, so I can't look at the requirements. Is there a way to look at the requirements? In any case, you need keep level 33 to start crafting these guys. So these the Achaemenid set. Amongst other things, I think you do need. Let me just double check. I think it's under upgrade. Yes, under upgrading, you do require some other prerequisites, such as the shrine level 33. So level 33 is quite an integral level to get to. A couple of level 30 buildings as well, but that there's a lot of level 33 buildings in there. If you have a look, let me just check the chest. The chest needs rally spot to be at level 33. Achaemenid pants as well, hospital level 33. So that's quite an important level to get to, firstly, because it's a prerequisite for other buildings to be at that level so that you can upgrade the gear. And in the first place, it needs to be crafted. So that also requires the forge to be at level 33. And no other building is allowed to be higher than the keep building. So your keep building will determine everything else, right? That's number one. Once you get to your keep, to that level, in the process of doing so, you want to slowly increase your monarch level. So my monarch here is currently at 50% XP rate for level 37. You will have your own level, but you need to get that up as quickly as possible, because your monarch level is going to determine the level that your general can be. Your general can never be higher or a stronger or a higher level than your monarch. Simply put, there's no other way to put it. And once you have that, once you've got your monarch level up nicely, you've got your keep level done, you've got the ability to craft your gear. Of course, there are a lot of other things that come with that. You need to have an active sort of participation in rallies, because the rallies are going to give you material, it's going to give you resources, it's going to give you speed ups, it's going to give you gold, etc., etc. And these are all things that the game provides you. Speaking of participating in rallies, let me get on that as well. Nope. There we go. Exactly. So Vikings, for example, that's where you're going to get all your materials, most of your materials at least, and a bunch of gold to do research. So those are the things that you can do passively while you are working your way to keep level 33, right? Once you're there, and hopefully you've gotten there sort of as quickly as possible, your inventory should be stacked with a bunch of materials. Obviously, you would have to go down into your inventory and then find the materials. There we go. So you've got like these things that will collect over time. Let's move that down. Right, and then as they pile up, well, I generally try to wait until they hit 10,000, because you get a chance, see 8.3% chance of getting each of these items, and there's quite a lot of them. So yeah, I just like to wait until it's 10,000 roughly. More is always welcome. And then I open them, because they stack up, and then the percentage of getting each item increases, etc., etc. Okay, so you've got your materials, so that allows you to craft gear, right? One of the ways that you can maintain a healthy growth for your monarch is by offering in the shrine every day. Different people do it in different rates. I tend to do, so, depending if you're starting out, the gem count is low in your account, right? So you do maybe 3 times minimum, but I want you to focus on getting that up to 5 times a day, then eventually 7 times a day, then eventually 10 times a day, to the point where you're winning events. Your alliance is competing well and you're winning events, because then every alliance member gets quite a nice healthy sum of gems, to the point where you can do 15 to 20 times a day. Generally 15 times with using gems and 5 times using tokens. At least that's the way it should be done. Because after 15 times the experience rate to gem expenditure flatlines. So that's how you can get your monarch level up nicely. Of course, if you participate in rallies and kill bosses, you get XP as well. So if you look at reports, of Viking will give you monarch XP of 800, and you have 50 Vikings. You can do the math there, multiply that by your alliance members. That's a bunch of XP. And event monster can give you up to 4,000 from the Serb 3. Let's see, 3,500 for Hydras. What's nice about Hydras, these Hydra chests, they contain a bunch of XP as well, so that's a nice treasure trove. And common boss, or not technically a normal boss, they are also a nice supply of XP, you can see there. So yeah, killing bosses, they tend to be good for XP, amongst other things. Now comes the big sort of hoo-ha, and that's your generals, right? So what generals do you choose? What can you put on your wall to have a good defense? And to me, that doesn't really matter. You can put Princess Lucy on here and you will tank defenses, fairly easily. There's a guy on YouTube also as well. He's Mr. Yours, I think. A while back he did SVS, and he literally put Princess Lucy on his wall, and he was tanking solos like it was nothing. So it's possible. The reason this is because depending on the way you build your keep in terms of troops, the general itself is going to provide minimal buffs. And even so, the buffs it does provide, irrespective of what general you have, it's all going to be percentage buffs. Okay. Now, percentage buffs, they're not irrelevant, but they are so insignificant. They are relatively insignificant. These numbers here, let's take the HP value, it's quite high. They've already been buffed up, so I can't really use this as a sort of as an example, but you know, let's look at speed. Speed is 600, right? Now, it's currently colored in white, so it's not being buffed, so that's a base stat. Now, let's say I take that 600 and I want to add, you know, Civ gear can go up to 30%. Any refine on a Civ gear, we try to keep above 25%. So 25% on top of 600. I'm going to minimize my screen. I'm not sure if you will be able to view my phone screen because I only selected the app to be recorded. But I'm in my calculator right now. So if we multiply that by 0.25, so the lowest stat you can get is 150 on that. 150 points. So am I still recording? Yes. If you are going for the minimum of 25%, I think the HP buff is around 1000. All right. So if you're going 25% on that, it's going to be 250. Now, if you look at my general, should have been there somewhere. There he is. And I define in an HP buff for my T1 troop. I'm getting 1000 at least on each, 1400, 1600, 1957. Hypothetically speaking, if the HP standard buff is 1000, then I'm getting over 100% here. I don't think it is 1000. Let's double check. The initial stat for a T1 mounted HP stat is 400 units, even less than what I thought. So you're getting over 200% here, right? There's no refine that can do this. So that's why flat numbers are a lot better than percentages when looking at T1. That's even after the fact that, not even taking into account the fact that these buffs will all be halved if it's a percentage, right? So the general that I chose was Richard the Lionheart. I'll go into that a bit at the end, but the general for you is essentially going to be the general that you can ascend. Let's go to portraits. And I'm going to focus now on tavern generals, right? So Queen Boudica, Richard the Lionheart, Jadwiga. Is Jadwiga? Yeah, she's a tavern gen. So those are the top three there. So any of those three are decent gens to get. George Dewey here is not a tavern gen, but is available through the tavern tokens, the keys, sorry. Zachary Taylor, I believe, is in the relics. Bowie is in the relics as well, but is pretty much useless. Kusonoki, he's a tavern gen, I believe. Yeah, he's a tavern gen. Yi Sun Sin, he's a tavern gen, I believe, as well. Should be in the relics. No, it's not a tavern gen, but he's definitely in the relics. There's another dude. Tran, yeah, he's available in the tavern as well. I've seen him a few times. Keat as well. I like Tran. You know, he's not so bad. He's a good one to buff ground troops. Siege, range and siege. Oh, my bad. Siege just got a bunch of siege buffs. Siege buffs, and he's ascendable. Range and siege. Ground and siege, ground, range, troop, and siege HP. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice 20% there. Siege, oh, he's not so bad. Huh. I need to do the math on this guy and compare him to my guy. But in any event, if you want to go sort of a T1 trap style, then the standard at the moment is Queen Boudica, because she's cav focused. She provides a bunch of cav buffs. Again, these are all percentages. They all get halved, so you have to take that into account. And as a assistant, in my opinion, the number one assistant for her should be Lina Omasa. This guy provides a bunch of HP for cav, so you get a lot of HP. Right, and you'll notice I'm putting emphasis on HP here, and that's because your T1s, they're not going to attack anything. Well, they can attack something, but they're not going to inflict damage to the extent that you'd expect. They do inflict damage for sure, especially if the enemy doesn't have the buffs that you have. If they're a lot weak in buffs, then yeah, then sure they can kill. But the key is going to lie elsewhere. So they will act as a meat shield, a meat layer, to hold off the enemy. And if you have a bunch of HP, no matter the extent to the enemy's attack, as long as you're debuffing them, the HP is going to allow your troops to survive. Okay, that's all they need to do. All they need to do is survive. They need to stand there and tank whatever's coming in, so that your offensive troops, your actual troops that are going to do the killing. I am looking for a rally. Yeah, he did pretty well. This was the last battlefield we did, was the what's this event called? Battle of Civilization or something like that. But why is the reports cut off? I know I saved a bunch. Let's see, that was SVS, that was SVS. Damascus. No, not you. I'm looking for a good rally so that you can see. Nope. Okay, doesn't look like I've been rallied in a while. Oh well, I need to then just go to last one. No, he hit Bascon. Okay, let's just look at this. So if we go down to my T1 level, I should still have T1s here. So my T1s held off fairly well against 3 million troops. Now if we go look at his march size, he's sending 5 million troops at me, right? And looking at my T1s, of that 5 million, they're holding off fairly well against 3.195, say 3.2 million, right? That's over half his march size. Okay, I lose 7.9 million relative to what they are going up against. That's not bad. And if we go up in the layers here, you can see that each layer doesn't really do all that great, especially the calves. They're not quite that high in number. That will change in the future. Don't pay attention to my T4 siege. That's not important there. Um, so yeah, you can see relatively mediocre numbers going up here, not much damage being done. So you can see that the layers going up isn't really that important in killing the enemy. You know, they are in the grand scheme of things chipping away at the leftover troops that the guy is sending at me. Um, but yeah, we can start seeing that T12 does fairly well relative to the other layers. Where are we going? Here we come to T13. They do fairly okay. T14, depending on the troop type, doesn't really, impress compared to their level. So it's not really that significant, for example, compared to T13. In this, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I've got all 4 layers there. Now a rally would have maybe shown this off a lot better, because you'd be able to see how the troops fare off against a larger number of troops. And what I wanted to highlight was the significance of D13 specifically in defense. But you can see there that this 13.6 billion player is hitting me with a level 44 Archer General, fully ascended, and I'm level 37. And he's coming at me, if we look at the buffs, with his Archer buffs, well over 2000% in attack and HP, basically double what I've got going. Looking at the debuffs, he's not really debuffing me. 1002. Oh, he is. Yeah, he's debuffing me, right? And I'm debuffing him up to 1000. 2200. Yeah, I'm basically debuffing him as well. So my debuffs are saving my butt here. So my debuffs essentially weaken his attack. That is so important, especially when you're playing a T1 trap keep. You don't have the luxury of investing in a lot of troops, so you don't want, a heavy keep, because if you have all these troops and your buffs are low, they're just going to die. Let's get some healing going on here. So the generals that you choose, remember, they're just going to, the percentages they're providing will generally be debuffed. So you want to have them specifically buffing the type of trap that you want to go. And the easiest one and the most effective or efficient one, easiest to get right, is the T1 cav trap. So you'd want to build up as many T1 calves as you can. It's a never-ending story. So as long as you got that going, you can have everything else roughly 50 to 100,000. I like the number 250 because it's 250,000. So it's just like running in quarters. You can build a keep up over time using that approach. You can decide what's simple enough for you and affordable enough for you. You don't need to go all that much or that many. Once you've got that set in place, make sure that your refines on your general, irrespective of the general, I don't care what general you have, as long as the refines are suited for that troop type. So for HP, you want cav HP. For attack, you want cav attack. For defense, you want cav defense. Then, very important, you're going to need the cav speed book. So they need to get out into the battlefield as quickly as possible, so that they can engage and prevent the enemy from attacking your main troops. So that's cav speed. My assistant has sort of siege range bonus and range troop range bonus. That just allows my troops to start the battle as well a little bit earlier. For the bigger players that want to start building, improve their defenses, if you don't have a form of braces which has siege machine attack range on your general, then don't do it, because everyone that's coming at you is going to potentially start solo sieging you. And if you don't have siege, if the siege can't defend, I mean, I just recently started building siege, so it's not Where am I now? Let's go into saved again. I'll show you why that's the case, because once siege starts hitting you, that's archers. Yeah, once the siege starts hitting you, it's not so nice, especially if your buffs aren't where they should be. If you look at our buffs here, we compare our siege buffs. He's relatively higher than me, but he's hitting me the relative correct way. If you see what he's sending, his T14s aren't that many. T13s are taking up the bulk of that march with his T12s because they've got a better range. So this is I've seen a bunch of T11 as well. They didn't do too bad, killing 6.5 million troops. If you look at my side, my T11s, I had 2.7 million die, and they only killed 1.6 million troops. My T12 was only 754,000, so that's not enough really to defend me against siege. And my T14 it's not there. Okay, so they died earlier somewhere else. So yeah, it's siege is a finicky thing, and it shouldn't be an early focus. So just forget about siege if you don't have those braces. Sorry, but also just avoid them in the early stages. Focus on those calves. So you've got your general, you've got an important piece of gear, you've got the books. You want obviously your troops to get onto the battlefield as quickly as possible. I've now started with siege, so I have siege HP in there, and I have specifically this range books on there. I've wanted to increase my archer attack as well, because that was lacking. So I've got the books, I've got the gen, I've got the refines, and one of the most important aspects of defense is your debuffing ability. Okay, and that comes through your subordinate city generals. Again, there are a bunch of generals that are freely available in the tavern that will make you a debuff expert, right? So if you are the conventional T1 trap, you are going to be hit with, especially in early stages of the game, you're going to be hit with a combination or variation between archers and ground troops. Rarely would you be hit with calves, because calf PvP isn't prevalent on newer servers. They tend to be for bosses mainly. But as the server ages, obviously calves will come into play, and then eventually siege, etc. But in the beginning, even on older servers, you will most likely be hit with archers and ground. So that means you need to debuff those two troop types. Now, the highest and the most important stat for archers, we are looking at their attack. And the highest and most important troop stat for ground would be their HP. So our focus should be, in the beginning, we want to debuff ground HP and archer attack. And someone that does that really well, we're looking at Andrew Jackson here. He's available in the tavern. This is one I picked up recently, and I just started ascending him. I have to finish his books there. But looking at his main skill, Old Hickory, he reduces enemy ranged troop attack by 20%, as well as mounted troop HP by 20%. So he helps in that respect. He then debuffs ground troop HP as well as mounted troop by a further 10% if you start ascending him, and you can look at the red stars at your own leisure over there. He's fairly easy to get. Just spin the tavern a couple of times and he should pop up. Once you have him, this guy, he's like a what do they call these gen types? Freemium, right? So you kind of technically have to pay to get him, but you could get him for $5. Okay, if you are lucky. Okay, so there's a couple of events, the Dawn of Civilization, and there's some other one where you have to do 150 activity points per day, I think, or 130 or something like that. And eventually you'll complete all 50 stages, and at the end you can get a general chest for $5. Now, yeah, if you get it once, okay, great. The chances are, again, if you stack up those chests, you are standing a higher chance of getting him. And if you do, hopefully you can get him a couple of times and you can start ascending him. That is a freemium. Then another free-to-play sub-gen is Arminius. He's also available in the tavern. You can see there that he reduces ground troop HP, which is what we're looking for, as well as range troop and siege machine attack, which is also what we're looking for. So he's a good one to have. Another free-to-play should be, yeah, Harold is one. He's a recent addition to my team. I still have to completely get more. Firstly, I want to get more copies of him before I start using him, because his effectiveness is only showed once he's ascended, where his debuffs are really performing well. So off the bat, he reduces enemy troop attack by 10%. Now that's important there. He reduces enemy troop attack, not a specific troop type, all troops. So that's 10% multiplied by 4. And it reduces enemy troop HP by 10%. Again, not a specific troop type, all troop types. And if you look at his ascension buffs, you know, his defense there, the defense debuff in the beginning, the first red star, is again all troop types. And then it gets a little bit more specific. But then it goes off again, all troop types, HP and all troop type attack. So overall, he's debuffing quite significantly once he's ascended, which is kind of the plan that I have with him. So he's a nice one to have. Another one is Nero. So yeah, I've got a level 1 here. He's going to be ascended as well. Again, all reduces enemy troop HP by 15%. That's all troop types. Then another 10%. Again, all troop types. Another 10%. That's all troop types. So he's pretty decent once you get him ascended. Off the bat, you know, it's not that great. However, you know, HP is one of those things, specifically relating to percentage buffs that you want to debuff, you know, especially the bigger players. You have to grab every little percent that you can. And even if it's just a 15%, yeah, okay, it's only 15%. But if you add them all up, all the little percentages that you get everywhere else, you know, it tends to make a big, significant impact. That's going to be super important, will be the combination of your debuff gens. There is one more who I think is important. Duty subordinate. Yeah, I think this is China. Nope, not China. Yeah, this lady, Dao Ziqi. So she reduces enemy troop defense by 15%. That's all troop types. And enemy ground troops defense by another 15%. So that's a total of 30 for ground and 15 for everything else. So she focuses mainly on ground, debuffing ground troop types, right? She's important if you are predominantly being ground soloed or ground rallied. Not important for like month 1, month 2 service, but as your age of your server goes up and you see people start soloing ground, then you're gonna want to get her. She debuffs ground very nicely. Now, as your keep grows and you've got all your generals in place, you've got the ability to craft all your gear, you've got the refines in, you've got your subordinate city gens. They all need gear, right? So you're going to craft them all the gear. And if we go through sort of what I've got going there, they've all got their Achaemenid gear, and I started upgrading them as well. They've got I've got 3 that are fully upgraded. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Okay, my bad. And then I'm starting with number 5. And you can decide what you want to go through there. Predominantly, you want to go for what you are being attacked with. So I took the ring that is debuffing archer attack. There's another ring which debuffs. Let's double check. Oh, they're all debuffing archer attack. Oh well. There's another ring, but that is what I had in the beginning, so I stuck with it. Sorry, it's a problem that I had in the beginning. Then other pieces that you can go for is the Achaemenid leg armor, so you're debuffing ranged troop defense and siege attack. Siege attack is fairly easy to debuff, especially if you've got a full complement of Achaemenid gear on your sub generals. There we've got archer attack and siege machine attack again. This piece is specifically coming from a dragon piece, which got upgraded into an Ares piece, which got upgraded now into the Imperial armor. So this piece is very expensive to make in terms of materials, but so worth it to get that extra archer debuff. You want the predominantly high amounts of your axes to debuff the HP for ground and archers. And then you want to mix in some spears to debuff ground defense as well. In combination obviously with their HP. And then everything else that I have is the double debuff. So defense and HP there on the helmet. And then siege attack and mounted attack on the boots. So you can go for that. And then eventually, again, as you're progressing, not in the beginning, you're going to start to use runestones and include their specialties. So there's a specialty called Snipe on most subordinate city generals. You want to focus on that one first and get that extra attack debuff going as you progress. And you would have noticed I've got some spirit beasts on my wall gens, my duty gens. And that's because quite a few of them that offer debuffs there. So many of these guys are new. You can see, I mean, you have your own keep. You can have a look at the debuffs they provide. You don't have to do that. I just like it because it's the extra little bit of percentage that I'm getting. So now you've got your generals in place. They are kitted up. To add a little bit of extra buff to your defense, you're going to want to have your duty generals assigned. Again, all free-to-play generals that I have here. Let me just double check. Yep. Toyotomi, he's available in the tavern. How do you say this? Yulji Mundiok, he's available in the tavern. So you get them all eventually. They will provide building specific buffs, for example, training speed, training capacity, rally size, march size capacity, research speed, healing speed, etc., etc., etc. Once you, however, start ascending them, that's when they shine. So you'll see there that eventually these ascension buffs will start kicking in if they are assigned to those buildings. Again, those are for in-city troops, which is very nice. Also very important, especially if you are getting bigger. Another guy that's very nice is Ban Chao. He gives a couple of range and siege machine buffs there, which is also important. They all are important. Everything's important. Then, so we've got our duty gens, we've got our sub gens, we've got our wall gens. They all are kitted with gear. They all are refined. Of course, there's the dragon. This one on our server. To get Thebes, you need to have server war Ares wings. So that's the blue wings, and you should have gotten them by being positive in that SVS. So just to control, how people play. And again, you can see I've refined for mounted troop HP. Again, all flat refines. So that's all contributing to my defense. What goes without saying, like I don't even have to say this really because it should be self-explanatory, is your academy. You want to get your research done, and then eventually after K36 you want to get your military academy going and completed. And yeah, that's about it. That should be, I think, everything important. There is a hidden little cove here in the art hall. We all have seen these generals at one point or another. Some of them elude us, like this lady over here. I just am struggling to get Aurora of Empress done. General Hall 1 is should be all free to play generals. Let's see quickly. I don't see any premium generals here. Nope, they're all free to play. General Hall 2 are freemium and premium combined. There's a couple of them that you can only get through general tokens, some of them through relics. So this is where you kind of have to spend money to get a couple of them, which I'm not doing. So I tend to be slower on these tabs. Here as well, there's a couple available in the tavern, in relics, and some that you will get through general tokens. Once you get this, this is all fun and good, but once you get them, it's going to allow you to go into the art treasure area and to unlock these buffs here. So for example, if it's not unlocked yet, so if you look at the elephant, look at activation requirement, I'm missing Aurora of Empress, and that if I say go to, it will show me, I haven't completed this, I need to get Sajar, right? So once I get her, what am I unlocking? Range troop attack, range troop defense, range troop HP. It doesn't say attacking, it doesn't say defending. That means this buff is active when I'm defending and when I'm attacking, which is, very nice to have. I can just get the damn general. And that's the case for everything else. If you look at the sword, you're getting marching ground troop attack, range troop attack, and mounted troop attack. So that only works for offense. So maybe for defensive players, that's not going to be important. What was that other one now? Okay. Training speed, in-city range, and mounted and siege attack, which is very nice to have. This is something that you want to get. I don't know how to describe this guy. A samurai, kneeling, bowing, I don't know. This Egyptian one is also important because it's HP for both sides of the wall. Marching, this one I already know I need to get bog wings, and I'm not going to be able to do that yet. Marching siege, all troop attack, enemy troop attack, so that's quite nice. Anyway, you will be able to unlock all these fancy buffs, and once you do, you can level them up, so you don't have to worry about the general hall once you've completed it. However, you are going to need these scrolls, right? So you need to save them up, get a bunch of them slowly over time. I don't know how much I have going here. Should be by the art pieces. I looked to be pretty close to a few of them. Let's open them. We'll get a couple. Let's see if I can upgrade anything. Nope. I was pretty close to one of them. Which one was it? Neither. Oh well. So yeah, that's another place. There's a trove of buffs. What else? Blazons. This is a touchy subject because they can be catered for offense and defense. So if you look at, I've got currently my offensive Blazon set. I don't think I've created the defensive one yet. Nope. But yes, that's because I don't want to go through the pain of switching them. Switching Blazons at the moment is so tiresome. In the middle of a battle, you don't want to waste time going into your city, clicking on the Blazons, finding the right tab, selecting the right presets, then going back out, getting back into the field, and then taking a hit or joining a rally. I mean, those things are tedious and time consuming, and it hasn't optimized it yet to the point where I will do that. So the way I do this is I focus on, I first create the set that I want. Okay, so for archers, I went Valor set to get the debuffs as well as the offensive buffs for myself. Then I focused on the main buff that I wanted to increase first. And so if you look at the orientation of these Blazons, they are essentially in the same order as the weapons or the gear on your generals, right? So you've got the weapon and the ring. any refine that you do on the weapon or heading, you'll get an attack buff. Well, amongst other junk, but those are the two that you'll be focusing on. So I focus on that for this preset. So if we go into my light blazon here, you'll see my defending, range troop attack, and range troop attack itself for defense and offense was selected. And then by leveling it up, I managed to get some more defensive buffs. So this is nice for me specifically because I don't have to switch between defense and offensive blazons. All right, at least for now. As I complete sets, I can create more presets in the future. Hopefully then they are being optimized. And this is the other one. So this one is a little bit more offensive orientated. So I'm focusing here on marching buffs and overall offensive when the troops are outside of my city. And so that's how I'm complementing this arrangement specifically for my key. Now that the attack is done, I've started focusing on HP because that's the second most important stat for range or archer troops. So that we've got that going there. And that's essentially what I do for all the troop types. Eventually, they will all get completed. Here we've got ground. We obviously are focusing on HP first. I think, so there we've got that. Those are quite nice because at level 15, you won't get a new buff, so you can just don't worry about ruining the blazon after that. I just want to also make you aware that at level 10, you'll eventually get a new refine, sort of in inverted commas, the star there, ground troop load that you see there. That buff that you get there is completely random. If it's something that's player versus environment related or PvE related, please don't continue to upgrade it, hoping you get the fourth star to be, PvP related or some buff that you want. Just stop it at level 10. Eventually, when you return to this buff, this blazon, remember the first two buffs, they're quite helpful. But we want to change this in the future, and because we know we're going to change it, we don't want to invest in it. All right, so for these trash buffs, just ignore them, get back to them later. We'll do that by removing them eventually, going back in and finding one that you'd like. All right, well, there's not one at the moment, but you get my drift. That's the blazons. Stepwise approach, please. Focus on one, get it up, unlock a new buff. Once the new buff is unlocked, make sure that it's a buff that you want. If it is, continue. If it's not, stop. Okay, stop until you can replace it. Yeah, so let's now we can go into some PvP reports. Let's see what we have here. Now I can't go into my reports. Let's go into saved. Let's see, what did we do here? We were attacking. We were playing some temple. We were having fun in the temple over there. But we are for defense, right? So that was not a good defense. We were calves in the temple, and he sent in his archers. Then this was battlefield. Let's look for some more SVS. PDB was battlefield. Yeah, I lost quite a bit. Okay, so in battlefield I was down to 2 billion. I lost 1.2 billion power. And one alliance member was reinforcing me, and White Devil here decided to rally me, helping to clear me in one go, and sent off a cav rally. Interesting. They tend to do well depending on the type of keep that you are. Hopefully you can defend it, but it doesn't help to get ground reigns. It tends to happen, but mostly you see the layers all died previously. They weren't. It's important also to refresh reigns if you're taking defenses. But anyway, So we lost 800 and they lost 900, 1 billion. We lost 8.3. Yeah. So we came out relatively positive here. Wasn't nice. Good thing in this battlefield is you can get those tents to heal. It's not the point here. Looking at the buffs, 12 billion only. I was looking at the wrong troop type. It was weird. I was trying to figure out why his buffs are so low, but I was looking at the wrong troop type. So his Cav buffs attack and HP is fairly high. That's good. Am I debuffing him? So Cav, I'm debuffing 1/8 attack. So he's outbuffing me there. HP, I'm not even scratching the damn surface. Right, so that's poor on my part. I need to improve that. This is also very important for anyone that's watching that wants to improve their defense. Is go through your reports. Just because it says, oh, look, I won. I still lost 600 million power. I can be more efficient if I improve either my buff, so I can outbuff him, which is not going to happen anytime soon, or I can improve my debuffs. That's fairly easy to accomplish. So I need to focus on that. If we look at the battle detail, he sent off 1, 2, 3 decent Cav marches by the looks of it. Yeah. 3 fairly decent Cav marches. And what am I doing? My ground dies for obvious reasons. Cav kills ground. Oh wow, I've got no T14 here. Basically no T13 as well, so yeah, I lost quite a bit of layers there, important layers. Ground, range, choose D12 as well. So I was a broken keep here. I had enough archers to fend him off. If you go through the report, you can see each troop type, and then you can see what they killed, and you can see how many of them got wounded. So that's important to try to figure out, this troop type did that damage against this rally or this solo. How many times am I being soloed by this troop type with these specific types of buffs? Should I invest more into this troop, or should I back off and maybe focus on another troop type? These are all aspects of reading a report to see how you can improve. So my ground troop layers are just being completely annihilated to the point where his calves start engaging my calves. So once all my ground is done, then he starts working his calves, or their calves work on my calves. So the calves are next. We can see my T1 got smoked. About half of them got, but yeah, basically 50% of them died. Okay, I don't have any other calves in my keep, and which means before he could, I don't even have siege in my keep. Yeah, so I was pretty much. I have a couple of siege. Did I see siege now? Yeah. No. I thought I saw siege. So I've got no siege. I've got no ground in this rally anymore. The last troops that were standing were going to be the few T1 calves and my archers, and they did okay to kill. The Rains also did something, should have done something. Not a lot, because going up against the having a broken Rain and being attacked by the counter troop type is not very easy. But yeah, so that's it. So you can take a 12.2 billion player, he can rally you, and you can defend him if you go through a systematic approach. Everything that I've mentioned here is relative to your keep. It's relative to what's available to you. Try to focus on what you can obtain. Never try to emulate someone else. And in the long run, make sure that you're having fun. This is not a job. This is not, don't feel the obligation, oh my God, the Alliance is online, they're rallying, I need to be there. It's SVS, oh my God, the throne's in danger, I need to be online. No. Live your life, play Ebony second, your life comes first. There's a couple of other things that might come second. But yeah, keep it real, man. Just, a lot of us play this game for fun, to de-stress, decompress. And yeah, we have a good time bantering with one another. As long as you are able to maintain that. If you want to know, like, oh, but now I'm not going to make the rallies. Well, get yourself a bot. We should all have laptops. Oops. Look at these juicy rallies. Get yourself a decent laptop and sign up for a bot. For one account you would spend maybe $5, I think, on a simple bot, and go that route. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just ignore what I'm saying. But if you do know, if you're interested, reach out to your alliance members, ask them, yo, I don't want to be online all the time. What can I do? How can I do it? And generally have these conversations offline, not on the Ebony, but there's other apps like Discord, Line, WhatsApp, whatever the case may be, Facebook. And get in touch with players that are doing this, because there's no way you can sit on this game 24/7 trying to join every rally, being active, making yourself disconnect with the world around you. In the meantime, you're joining all the rallies, you're growing, becoming a great player in the game, but your real life is problematic. This is actually now going off topic, but maybe we can touch and dive into that in a future video. So Shivi, I hope you're enjoying the video, the content. Thanks for the request. Yeah, until next time, this is Shaka Zulu signing off.